classic.
Back here now at our announced position before a capacity crowd applauding, a lot of which you will hear today, and the applause for Steve Wunderlich, 29-year-old professional from St. Louis, ABC Masters champion, yet he has not experienced winning his first PBA singles title. Second and third a lot. And a beautiful start by Steve Wunderlich. 6-footer, 165 pounds, and the cover boy, Brian Voss, the defending champion, having won the Quaker State title a year ago right here at the Forum Bowl. He's from Tacoma, Washington. Last year, the 6th leading money winner. Beautiful, stylish throw. Wunderlich and Voss.
You're right, Chris. Two of the players that really are very conventional, have textbook styles. Brian Voss, Steve Wunderlich start the ball in an ideal position, set themselves up very well. Brian Voss, the 4-step delivery. Looking down at the approach to pick his proper starting position on the approach, he's playing in line somewhere between the first and second arrows.
Last year winning 2 titles, including this one. 2 seconds as well. So left with solid 10 on the left lane as we get another profile look here.
Ideal style. 4-step delivery, push away out with the first step, shoulder high back swing, wrist in a nice flat position, left shoulder back, deep knee bend, good extension, just a bad break left, a solid 10.
Very good. Continuing to mark here in our very first match. And if you just join us, you're in early on our telecast. The winner of this to meet Joe Berardi, then the great Mark Roth, to be followed by Bob Benoit, a former resident of Dallas, now bowling out of Topeka, Kansas, a non-winner. So here is Wunderlich now. He has a doubles title to his credit, along with that ABC Masters title. At the end and leaving the 6-7-10, Nelson.
Right, Chris. Just a little bit soft with the ball. He has that 4.5-step delivery. Wunderlich eyes the target, has a style very similar to Voss's, goes through the ball, doesn't quite throw it hard enough, and he's now quickly up on the approach with another harder ball to shoot the 6-7-10 split.
Beautifully done. And if that doesn't get the adrenaline pump going, nothing will. Just textbook.
Ideal shot. Wunderlich, who just drilled this new bowling ball for the telecast. Chris, as he slides the 6 over in the 7, the ball taking out the 10. He drilled a very low surface friction bowling ball with what we call a conventional grip. The next time he picks it up, as you see him with his fingertip grip with his urethane bowling ball in the left lane, the other ball to help make spares.
That's really as brilliant as we've seen Steve look in the first three frames of any of his 19 television appearances that we have had him on. Brian Voss is in his 18th television appearance. Boy, we're getting experienced people this year.
No doubt. I think the real good players are starting to separate themselves from the pack. We're seeing it this year.
Nope. Brian Voss waiting at the line, hoping that the 10 would go, giving him 39 through the second, and let's watch him shoot another 10 pins spare.
The action of the head pin. Watch it. The head pin goes to the left sideboard. See it hit the sideboard, which is a fiberglass sideboard, comes rolling back across the lane, almost knocks out the 10. Voss quickly up to convert the spare.
Oh, now he's showing you how to do it on our championship pair here. Brian only crossed it in 2 games during the competition and averaged 202. His high game this week was 258.
Very steady player. I had the good opportunity to do about 20 exhibitions with Brian Voss 2 years ago. He averaged better than 225 in those 20 different houses. Definitely a type of player can adjust to all conditions.
At Denny's, you get more than a great value. You get a great breakfast. Introducing Denny's delicious fruit-baked French toast with real peaches or raisins and cinnamon baked right in the bread. Plus all the extras for an incredible $4.99. Denny's, we're cooking now.
With the next pick, the Patriots select Diet Pepsi machine?
I used to fill that machine.
Come on, a vending machine? I thought Coach went nuts.
The kid can play.
Here come the Patriots.
Pepsi machine. Machine.
Machine's got hands. What hands?
Live football. Drink Diet Pepsi.
Nice play.
What? Next up is number 3.
Here in the finals of the Quaker State Open, you're looking at the Firestone Masters and United States Open champion, Dapper Joe Berardi. He will meet the winner of our first match, which is nearing the halfway point between this man from St. Louis, Steve Wunderlich, and his opponent, Brian Voss. Wunderlich, leading by 1, can increase it. Now he leads by 11. A good mixing action on that bowling ball.
Wunderlich with the pro bowler's favorite shot when he can go a little bit high, trip the 4-pin out with a 2-pin. You can bet that'll loosen him up because the pros will carry the light hit or the swisher hit a high percentage, but with that powerful ball, often they get splits when they go up near the nose. Now Wunderlich leads by 11, coming up on the left-hand lane, which hooks about 3 boards more than the right-hand lane.
Steve's having a wonderful game. A strike, a conversion 6-7-10, and now a 3-bagger. The
First
winner,
point.
27.
27-14, as you see, third and $1,000 difference in this match.
Now Brian Voss, and a reminder of our college basketball doubleheader tomorrow: Michigan, Indiana, Temple, Las Vegas, University. Okay, Brian Voss with a double, trailing by 11. Earlier we had a chance to ask him about making the final 24 here where he's defending.
Well, Thursday morning was my last 6 games of qualifying. I didn't do quite so well. They estimated that it would take about 270 over to make it. I had 252. I didn't think I was going to make it, but I did. I bowled well in match play. I'd like to defend my title.
And 270 means his pin's above 200 average for 18 games. He just snuck in. He's maximizing his opportunity.
And now he's cut the lead to 1 pin again. What a wonderful first match here in the Quaker State Open. Attended by a capacity crowd, but here at the Forum Lanes, they never have enough room. We're in Grand Prairie, Texas, another of the friendly suburbs of the Big D. 3-bagger going, shooting in the 6th frame. A man that you've known since he was a child.
Just about, Chris. A great practicer. Steve Wunderlich is just a dedicated professional, excellent high school athlete. Played third base at the Parkway School District is his wife, Cindy Wunderlich, who he met while going to the University of Missouri. She's also a St. Louis girl. Wunderlich, excellent high school baseball player, as I said, at Parkway Schools District, and just a tremendous pro bowler. Leads by 11, has 4 in a row, can extend to 21 with another.
5-bagger for the man looking for the PBA elusive title. Our first game from St. Louis, Steve Wunderlich. He has strung 5 in his match against the defending champion of the Quaker State Open, Brian Voss. But Brian has 3 in a row. Shooting in the 7th frame, can cut the lead to 11 with a strike here. High-scoring first match. Nelson?
No doubt, Chris. 39-40, the championship pair. As you watch the action of the head pin as it drives out the 2, 4, and 5s. The head pin goes to the sideboard, takes out the 4 pin. The 4 drives the 5 out. The head comes back, does the 7. That's the reason you put lift on a bowling ball, is to energize those bowling pins. And Chris, 39-40 here at Forum Lanes. has always been a fairly nice championship pair. Players have to make good shots. The left lane hooks, as we said, about 3 boards more, but the carry of the pins has been great.
Oh, and an extremely high hit. Brian Voss gets the break, and now a 1-pin difference.
Watch the action of the 2-pin, Chris, as it gets between the 4 and 7 pins. This is just a bowler's delight when a pro can carry hit that. See that 2 pins up there? It drives out the 4 and 7s. Right now, both players have strung 5 strikes in a row.
That's a Frank Esposito carry, right? Another one.
When you see Wonderlic go to one leg, as you watch Brian Voss, he says, oh my goodness, it could be my day. But there's a man coming up on lane 39 that has something else to say about it. Steve Wonderlic started with a strike, left the 6-7-10 split in the 2nd frame, which he converted, has now strung 6 strikes in a row, leads by 11, 9th frame.
One more.
10-pin on the left lane. Round of applause. What a wonderful 8 frames for this man.
Steve, he says one more. You could hear it all the way up in the announce booth. Solid 10. With a conversion here, he would maintain that 10-pin lead, but Voss will have something to say about that when he comes up in the 9th.
Stuck at the line, but nevertheless, covers the 10. What a game. Opened with a strike, converted the 6-7-10. Strikes through 8, a spare in the 9th. For Wonderlic and bachelor Brian Voss. Really a neat guy. 5'10", 160 pounds, 29-year-old from Tacoma. Former All-Army champion.
Can even the match with a strike here in the 9th frame.
You know, they win these PBA tournaments from all positions. Here at Forum Lane, no one has ever won from the number 5 spot here.
And Chris, I think that the winner of this match, as you see the pinfall of Brian Voss there in the 9th frame to even the match, the winner of this match is going to be very tough on through the next 1 hour. And as we see Voss come up in the 10th, the match all even. Voss has been involved in 3 tie matches in the championship round in his career. He won his very first title when he won a tie match roll-off against Pete McCordick 39-29 in 1983. So he's no beginner at this part of the game.
Oh! Last week we had one of those sneaky trippings of the 4, and here we have it again today.
Good point, Chris. This has been the hit that's been the key hit. Last week it was the key hit for Jim Pensack as he defeated Falgren to make the top 5, and then he went on to watch Berardi carry the key high hit to take the title. And once again, Brian Voss carries the high trip 4 to take a lead of 10 pins.
The winner to meet, Joe Berardi. There's another 10 on that pesky left lane.
What that 10-pin does for Brian Voss is gives this a chance to be a tie match at 258. Voss with a conversion would finish with 258. Steve Wonderlic could strike in the 10th, 11th, and get a 9-pin count in the 12th shot. We'd have a tie.
Brian Voss, the man that has won in Detroit. He's won in Houston. And, of course, as we said, the defending champion here. And now, St. Louis Hopes riding on Steve Wonderlic.
Needs 2 strikes and 9 to win, 3. 3 to win, 2 and 9 to tie. Must have this one.
So, again, that number 5 position has been troublesome. In his 14th year here, Brian Voss, the defending champion, what a match it should be against Joe Berardi. 258 for Brian Voss. This is a Quaker State Open, our second match, head-to-head live from Grand Prairie.
And Chris, as you noted, nobody has ever come from the number 5 position to win this tournament. Voss obviously off to a good start with a 258. Has 3 very tough opponents to get through first to defend his title.
A 7 on the left lane.
A hit that the pros usually carry. They come in with that power and that good wrist action, take that 5-pin and throw it over towards the 7-pin. High percentage hit for pro bowlers, not to be, as Brian Voss opens the first frame, second match.
All right. Spare for Voss, who won the first match over Steve Wunderlich, 258 to 248. Joe Berardi, 33 years old, 7 titles, Firestone, Masters, United States Open. Sliding by, and we have a neat one to shoot at. 1, 2, 4, 10. And this is the tip of the week, Bo, that we'll see a little bit later.
The 1, 2, 4, 10. What Joe has to do is get the ball to the left side of the head pin, drive the head pin into the 10. It looks pretty close.
So we start out for Joe Berardi, Bo's tip of the week. But for Berardi, it's that thing you don't want, an open frame.
Especially against an opponent who is as cool and red hot as Brian Voss. But a lot of frames to go. Berardi won last week the AC Delco Classic. And when a player has won a previous tournament, Chris, he's always nice and loose. As you see the 4.5 step delivery of Berardi, shoulder high swing. Look at the position of that left hand as he pulls his left shoulder back, his right shoulder through, follow through, and pretty good shot. He just played the lane wrong.
And didn't get a break on the left lane either, leaving the 7-pin. 32nd television appearance for Joe Berardi.
We talked about the 5-pin going in front of the 7-pin, but the ball enters the 1-3 pocket, drives into the 5, just misses the 7, and Berardi just drills it on the spare shot.
What a week we had last week. Coming from the number 3 position, defeating Mark Roth, Pete Weber, and Walter Ray Williams. Now, there's a handful. Voss looking for his 4th title. 5th make it.
Bachelor Brian Voss, really a well-trained professional bowler. Good style.
Okay. Big strike in the 2nd frame for Brian Voss, who is a sports fan, including college basketball. And if you are, we invite you to join us tomorrow right here on ABC for this doubleheader. Michigan at Indiana, Temple at UNLV. Begins at 2 Eastern and Pacific, 1 Central.
Now Brian Voss to take a 21-pin lead if he can strike.
I believe that's his 4th 10 on the left lane, something like that.
Correct. The 10-pin has just not fallen for Brian Voss. A couple of them were solid 10s. That time he sent the ball a little bit wide. It failed to break at the proper position on the lane, approximately 45 feet down the lane, 15 feet from the head pin. The result is what we call the half 10. Voss been a little bit shaky on the 10-pin covers, but hasn't missed one yet.
Okay. Now the winner of our 2nd game that you're watching now will go against Mark Roth. Then the tournament leader, a non-winner named Bob Benoit.
Joe Berardi, good all-around athlete, participated in the ABC Sports Superstars program 1982, did very well. Very strong for a thin young man.
That high hit left him the 6-10 on the right lane.
What's happened to Berardi here in the early going is he was a little bit relaxed. I think that victory last week kind of made him not tuned up or not psyched up enough for today's championship round. He has to get his act together and make the adjustment on this lane.
see the money winners thus far. This is our fourth telecast, and Emletta Monticelli, who won, and Joe Berardi, who won last week, and Walter Ray Williams, who seems to be a fixture on our telecasts. Not this week, but Brian's going to add to his total, as, of course, will Wunderlich.
Bob Benoit has not cashed yet. He's our tournament leader.
Coach says, why?
Oh, yeah. A resounding strike. And are we delighted to go back to the Greater New Orleans area next week for the Don Carter Greater New Orleans Open. Well, we haven't done a telecast there since 1978. And I've missed hearing Pete Fountain, believe me.
Aha, your good friend, Pete Fountain. Hope he can come out next weekend.
Oh, he will.
I missed the crawfish, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
And the lovely people down there. As you see Berardi coming up in the eighth, 36-pin lead, can extend to 46 pins. He would have a commanding edge over Voss if he can strike here.
Ten-pin on the left lane. Look at that long, hard look. At Debbie's husband, Joe Berardi. Parents of two, expecting twins, and Debbie, we hope, is resting after a short stay in the hospital this week, Bill.
She had a little virus behind the lungs, I understand. It's got it all straightened out.
Good.
Berardi knew that 10-pin in the eighth frame could have been the coup de grace. Now he has given Voss a chance. Beefcake, as they call him. The centerfold of the PBA Tour needs strikes right here to have any chance.
Boy, he accepts the challenge. Brian Voss. You know, you can read body language, facial expressions. Not on Voss. You can Berardi. You can just tell what Berardi's thinking, feeling, but Voss,
Well, Voss, a bachelor's got one bill to pay. Joe Berardi's going to have 6 pretty soon, and that makes a big difference.
In other words, your emotions come out a little more, don't they?
Well, because you reach back and feel your pocketbook first before you throw the ball. Now, Voss needs this strike to stay in the match.
Leaving a 4, left side.
Brian Voss, who has been just a little bit unlucky in this game and kind of a little reciprocity in this game. He got some great breaks against Wunderlich. Has an outside chance, but not much at all. As the best he can shoot is 171.
Okay. And the bowler that loses this game will get 6,500. Steve Wunderlich, who lost to Voss in the first head-to-head match, $5,500. Now. Nice foundation strike for Joe Berardi. There's emotions coming on, cheering himself on, and why not?
And with that strike, he assured himself of a victory over Brian Voss. The scoreboard tells the story. Berardi, even with an open frame, would be in the 180s. The best Voss can do is 170. Once again, we're going to have a match like last week, Berardi and Mark Roth.
Roommates, the Brooklyn pair. It's a 10-pin for the winner of our first game, Joe Berardi, or second game, eliminating Brian Voss. Golf legend Byron Nelson, and we're delighted, Nelson, ABC, and his wife Peggy. We're delighted that we're going to again be televising the Byron Nelson Classic the second week in May.
That will be an excellent tournament as usual. You know, Chris, the bowling has been in the doldrums for the last, let's say, 15 minutes as we saw Berardi and Voss struggle through that second game. Now, as we get ready to start the halfway point of the semifinal match, we're watching Berardi wait for a re-rack. I believe the action's ready to pick up. You always see in match play a little bit of slow time, but now the time is now to throw strikes. Spares will not win any more matches. Berardi leads by 14, has a strike up in the third, can extend his lead to 24 over Roth with an additional strike. Here we go.
And there is a high hit. And the result, 3, 6, 7, 10.
too fancy. What he has to do is get the ball over here in the 3-6 zone, slide that 3-pin over into the 7, and convert that spare in order to maintain his lead.
Okay. Well, he did your tip from the other side, Bo. Our peekaboo look at.
Great shot by Berardi. The 3-pin goes right into the 7-pin, drives it down, maintains the lead over Roth, keeps the pressure on. Now he's up on the lane he's had so much success with. Lane 39 here at Forum.
Leaves the bucket on the left lane. 2, 4, 5, 8.
Berardi nice and relaxed, and sometimes that can be actually debilitating or self-defeating out there on the lanes. He won the tournament last week. He was all amped up. Now he's trying to have a little bit too much finesse. You have to charge in these one-game matches. You never can let opponent lie down.
And Joe was the 3rd seed last week when he won the tournament, as was Amleto Monticelli before him. Between these two boys from Brooklyn, they have never been worse than 11th in 4 tournaments. Oh, he wanted that double. Really, we had a chance to ask Mark what he had to guard against in order to advance a little better than last week.
I'd have to say keep my speed consistent and try not turning the ball early. When I turn the ball early, the ball hooks early, or if I make an adjustment, I get wide and leave a washout. I just have to be consistent and stay loose and go out and make good shots today.
Okay, he's on the left lane now. Double up, 6th frame. And the lead changes now. It's Roth by 10 pins.
Little roommate courtesy there by Roth, too. I've bowled Mark Roth many a times and watched him in the championship round. When he gets ahead of a player like that and throws that additional strike, he usually lets the other player know about it. He just sat down that time. Little courtesy to Berardi here in the early going.
Oh, of course, the 9 went, leaving only the 4 for Berardi in the 6th frame.
Joe Berardi once told Mark Roth, I'll say 5 or 6 years ago, a conversation I overheard. He says, Mark, when you slow down, I'm taking over. And this match may have a little more connotation to it than we believe.
Speed on that spare shot was 24 miles an hour.
Young man who turned pro at the age of 18. I had the luxury of eating one of my first real Italian dinners when his mother and father had me over their house in Brooklyn. And Chris, I can wonder how Joe can stay that slim style with the palatial layout they put at them on the table.
Pasta's good for you. That's what Francesca tells me every week. Oh, no. Well, the 710, which his roommate once made.
Berardi hits light in the pocket. The 5-pin will go behind the 7-pin. Here's the ball, hits the 1-3 and drives the 5-pin right there. It got cut off, went in front of the 7. You want to see a legitimate shot at the 710. Watch Berardi. 25 miles an hour rocket. Happening on the lanes as you watch Berardi's last 2 balls. First place, the oil is applied to the lane to about here. As we watch Berardi's ball go down the right-hand lane, it'll come in a little bit high. As the oil carries down the lane even farther, this area is beginning slick down here. Berardi's ball goes high. Now he makes the adjustment over here on this lane. Remember again, the oil pattern is down this far. This lane he hopes is going to break a little more. It doesn't as the ball slides by the head pin, and he ends up light. Now, earlier those moves worked. Right now they're not working for Berardi. Roth has made the adjustments, has 24-pin lead, 7th frame, 3 strikes in a row.
Pin on the right lane. We mentioned earlier that he'd won 33 titles. He's had 28 seconds, 30 thirds, 15 fourths, 13 fifths.
Wow. And his record here 7 times in the championship round. He has 1 win, 2 seconds, 3 thirds, and his destiny today is still undetermined. Right now, here's another of the greatest bowlers of all time, has a 23-pin lead. Mark Roth, 8th frame.
Okay, last year inducted into the PBA Hall of Fame, and Nelson mentioned his dad. It's the only father-son combination in the ABC Hall of Fame. Nelson Sr. and Jr.
Thank you, Chris, and congratulations to you, as you will be inducted into the American Bowling Congress Hall of Fame later in the year in Florida.
I should add, not as a player.
Berardi in a must situation.
Ooh. Remember, Berardi won the AC Delco Classic last week, but this is the Quaker State Open. And those people from Oil City, Pennsylvania, like Phil Petralia, his wife Carol, and their whole staff, they've really mixed beautifully with Jeannie Halsey and the folks at Grand Prairie to make it fun for the pros and the 2,000 participants in the Pro-Am.
That's for sure. As Berardi switches to another ball in the left-hand lane, he's using 1 ball in the left-hand lane, 1 on the right, and he must strike here to stay close in the match.
Wonderful clutch performances here by Joe Berardi. Now 13 pins separating these 2 close friends.
Berardi just drills all 10 pins in the pit. They could have been tree trunks and he'd have knocked them down. Good lift, high, solid hit. See how Roth reacts. What has made Roth so great is his ability to keep the pressure on his opponent in match play. He only leads by 13, 9th frame. Roth up in the 10th frame, 2 strikes working, could close the door on Berardi and go ahead to meet Bob Benoit, the tournament leader. It's down to the last frame. Let's see what Roth does.
Well, Joe Berardi last week had those Brooklyns. So Mark gets one here in the 10th.
Nobody will ever call Mark Roth stupid as he watched Berardi take the championship last week with 5 crossovers. Once again, Roth gets a great break and is the undoing of Berardi as Roth catches the break, which will send him in the championship match against Bob Benoit.
$41,000 at stake in this one head-to-head match in Grand Prairie. Roth, first frame. Now, let's learn more about Bob Benoit. He's 33 years old, now living in Topeka, Kansas. Former Dallas resident, said he'd like to come back to the Big D. And he's back this week in bowling for sure. Tournament leader, first shot. Capacity crowd here at the Forum Lanes.
Watch the profile and the 5-step full approach delivery of Bob Benoit. Look at him roll that ball back on the wrist, much like Jimmy Keith, who we saw last year a couple of times in the championship round. Then release that wrist underneath the ball. That's what initiates the tremendous hook power that has made Benoit so successful in his comeback. He didn't have that type of shot when he came out here in the early 80s. He was a straight ball player.
This championship pair, 2 games on it. During competition, he had 245 and 241, by far the best of the 5 on this pair.
I wonder if he surprised Roth coming out that aggressively in his first championship round. I think this guy is unshakable, though. Look at those eyes. He knows how to throw strikes.
So we're all even after 2 frames.
Mark Roth, power player, going against another young, blossoming, not really young, a newcomer to the tour, Bob Benoit, another power player. Roth does it with just tremendous snap and not as much hook. Bob Benoit has a real good smooth roll. As you see Roth's reaction to that strike, one of many in his career. As I said, Benoit throws the big hook ball type of power. So here the match is all even. 3rd frame.
Leaving a 4-pin, this man in his 3rd television appearance. Previous 2 finished 2nd, finished 4th. Now he has a chance to finish 1st. But he's against Bob Benoit, the tournament leader. Roth led for the first few rounds of this Quaker State Open. So now we get a look at Benoit, average 222, 42 games. Final 24 games, he won 19 and lost 5. Last night, 7 of 8.
He backed off for no one. Everybody said he'd falter, and then they predicted today that he would bend under the pressure of Roth, but he hasn't so far.
And this 33-year-old has a 3-bagger. Good numbers for Bob Benoit.
Watch how Bob Benoit holds that ball. He just rolls it back on his wrist. He used to be a straight ball player where he held his wrist flat. He started practicing with a light ball so he could do that, and he still only uses a 15-pound ball, Chris. I have not seen any pros been successful, especially right-handers on the Pro Tour with a 15-pound ball. Some of the left-handers have tried it. Mike Albee tried it, and Dave Davis, two of the great lefties, have tried it, but they could play a little bit more outside angle. Benoit doing it on the right side is just amazing, but he has so much a big hook.
Mark Roth, 18-year professional with 33 titles. Spare up, shooting in the 4th. He needed that to stay close. Because his opponent is opened with a 4-bagger.
The championship pair been very evenly distributed in the strikes. Look at lane 39 through 3 games, or 3.5 games now as we've gone through 4 frames. Lane 40, 25 strikes, spares equal, and open frames equal. So a well-balanced pair, although the left-hand lane hooks a little bit more. Roth has been around the pocket all 4 shots. He has 3 strikes, but Benoit, his opponent, has been perfect so far.
Roth, who eliminated Joe Berardi, last week's winner, now has answered back with a double and now trails by only 11, but that can change because Benoit has 4 in a row, shooting in the 5th.
Bob Benoit, who relinquished himself to regional play, won 3 regional championships in the last couple of years, Corpus Christi, Texas, Denison, Texas, and McAllen, but this is his first chance at a national title.
And now he has 5. The tournament leader. And earlier we asked him if he felt he had an edge going into the title game.
Well, I think with the hometown crowd pulling for me here, since I used to bowl league in this house, that'll help considerably. But I kind of look at it this way. I've got a 50-50 chance of winning, and I've got nothing to lose, so I'm just going to go for broke.
Bob Benoit, who lived here for 11 years, bowled league in this house, Chris. What a way to go for broke. He's perfect through 5.
If he can get 6 more, True Value Hardware will be happy to present him with a $100,000 check. As you're looking at Susan Benoit, little lady from Topeka, and that he's not thinking about that, I'm sure, but if it would, what pressure that is. 100,000.
No doubt, he still has to get by this man. This match is long from over.
Double up. He shot a 223 with 6 strikes against Berardi's 212. 223, 212.
You know, the keys to shooting a big game sometimes, Chris, are somebody making you or pulling you along like a pacer in a mile race. Roth right now is the pacer for Benoit. He's perfect, but don't count Roth out. 5 out of 6 strikes can cut the lead of Benoit's down to 11 with a strike here.
Remarkable. Unshakable, Mark Roth.
And I'll tell you, as an opponent, You don't like to see a guy come up and throw a shot like this. This is a ripper. He hits the 5-pin right in the face, drives it over into the 7, has cut the lead of Benoit's, even though he's perfect, down to just 11 pins through 6 frames.
And for Benoit, he has reached the 7th frame. Seven in a row. Thing of beauty to watch perfection.
Look out for a guy down on one knee. You can just bet that's a good tip-off that a player thinks he's throwing a good shot. When you see him walking left or right, or those eyeballs opening up a little too big, you know he may have a problem. But when they're down on one knee, you can bet it's close. Scoreboard tells the story.
Ed Langto of True Value back in Chicago. Hope he's watching. I'd be delighted to give away another 100. Now Mark Roth, 4-bagger, shooting in the 8th frame. 129 through the 5th. Broke up the split, leaving the 10-pin.
Roth coming up high, Chris, as you said, almost leaves the 4, 7, and 10 pins. Gets the break, still stays in the match. Hey, don't count this match out.
A smooth release. Mark Roth and covering the 10-pin, marking with the spare in the 8th. We are in our final game. This man has 8 in a row.
Mark Rose said he would like to get home tomorrow to watch his daughter Stephanie in her skating exhibition, but if he'd happen to win this, he'd have to stay over the Petroleum Club and host a champions banquet tonight. But the way Benoit's going, if Roth doesn't get another strike here, he won't have to worry about that banquet. He has a potential 258, though, 9th frame.
Stephanie having a real big test in the figures portion of advancing in figure skating competition. We wish her well.
Bob Benoit being tested. I think the test is over. He's proven that he has the mettle to be a professional bowler. Now let's see if he can have bowling immortality. He's only 4 strikes away from his first title and a perfect game.
Now he needs 3 more.
Chris, this strike locks up the title. He cannot lose the title no matter what Roth does. 258 will not be enough to win. Now it's just a matter of can he take all the money. A possible $127,000 paycheck in his first appearance. 10th frame.
So solid that he needs only 2 more. No, the furrows in his brow are getting deeper, but I think his shot's even getting better if that's possible.
You're absolutely correct, Chris. A lot of people said to me, this young man will choke. I says, don't count out these tough young guys. There's probably been whipped around a schoolyard by some bully sometime, but put a bowling ball in his hand and look out. He's Superman. He's got 10 in a row.
And Susan, oh, the pressure on this sweet blonde. Tears in her eyes. And if this doesn't get your heart pumping, I doubt if there's much that will. 1 to go for 100,000 smackers.
This is where years of practice come into play. There's really not much you can think about. It's all natural ability. Keep your eyes on your target and hope the dear Lord wants you to have it.
There it is.
Everybody on the approach. What a scene set as his wife Susan hugs him. And with the man who has just won his first title is my partner, Chris Schenkel. Take it away, Chris.
My goodness, young man, Bob Benoit. First title, first $100,000, I know.
Oh, I don't know what to say. I'm just ecstatic here. I don't understand what's going on, but whatever it is, I hope it doesn't ever leave me.
Those shots were absolutely beautiful that you laid in there.
Oh, thank you. I was so nervous with the last 4 to go. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to stand up.
You had your family, a lot of your family here rooting for you. I know that was a lot of fortification to keep a fellow skinny guy going.
I don't know. I used to bowl league here, and I used to live in Dallas, and it was great winning my first title here and shooting 300 on TV. I couldn't ask for a better place.
You gave a thrill to me. In a few months, we've had a couple of these now. And Dennis Swanson, the president of ABC Sports, has something in his hand that is going to maybe make you speechless. Dennis?
Bob, on behalf of Ed Langto and True Value, we've got a $100,000 check to give you here. I'm glad I was in Dallas to be here with him. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.